All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to explore a really unique way of thinking about education. It's all about connecting everyday skills, like managing your money, with some pretty deep spiritual wisdom. We're going to see how a simple math lesson can actually become a lesson for life.
So, the entire philosophy we're digging into today is really built on this one single powerful idea. This statement sets the stage for absolutely everything that follows. The point is, knowledge by itself isn't just neutral. It can actually be harmful if it isn't guided by a strong moral compass. And yeah, that leads us right to this question. We see it all around us, don't we? Our society is filled with incredibly smart people, people who are experts in their fields, but who still make choices that lead to chaos, anxiety, and just destruction. This whole explainer is diving into a curriculum that tries to tackle that problem head-on.
The crisis, as this material sees it, is that modern education has basically split knowledge away from God's Spirit. It creates people who are clever for sure, but who lack that true, deep sense of peace and wisdom. The goal of the Godly Learner series is to mend that break and offer a completely different path.
So what is this different path? Well, it's a path rooted not just in textbooks and theories, but in the promises of Scripture, which point toward a very, very specific outcome. It all comes down to a foundational verse, Romans 8:6, and it starts with this really stark warning. It's describing a mind that's only focused on worldly, temporary things, and it says that path leads to spiritual death. But that's not where it ends. And here it is. This is the promise. By just shifting your focus, by training your mind to be spiritually centered, the entire outcome is transformed into life and peace. And that right there, that's the core principle behind this whole educational philosophy we're looking at today.
So this is the mission of the Godly Learner series. It's not about adding a religion class at the end of the day. No, it's about weaving these values into every single subject, history, science, and as we're about to see, even math, to grow not just knowledge, but real, usable wisdom.
Okay, enough of the high-level stuff. Let's dive into a really concrete example. How does this big idea actually play out in a real classroom? We're going to break down a 6th grade math lesson on, you guessed it, personal finance.
The topic is something we all have to deal with, right? Checking accounts and debit cards. It seems like a totally straightforward math lesson, but as you'll see, it's actually designed to teach a much, much deeper principle.
So the lesson kicks off with a real-world choice that you or I might face. The students have to think critically. Bank A has a fee, but you can avoid it. Bank B is free, but there's a catch. And here's the kicker. The right answer isn't really about the math. It's about your personal habits and your discipline.
And to see how this plays out, we follow the story of Sarah. She's just out shopping, going about her day, but she makes one small, hasty mistake. She forgets to check her balance before she swipes her card, and that one little oversight leads to a pretty painful consequence.
And that consequence, that's the moment the lesson pivots. It's where we go from simple arithmetic to a profound spiritual principle, the principle of diligence. $35. That's the real-world cost of Sarah's small moment of being in a hurry. It's not just a number on a worksheet, it's a tangible loss. $35 that could have been completely avoided. That number makes the lesson very, very real.
And boom, here's where it all clicks together. That $35 overdraft fee isn't just a bank penalty, it's a perfect, modern-day example of Proverbs 21:5. The lesson connects Sarah's haste directly to poverty and diligence, which would have just been checking her balance, to plenty. The math problem just became a moral lesson. Now, of course, alongside that big moral lesson, the curriculum still covers all the essential practical stuff. It teaches the students the clear benefits of a debit card, how it's convenient, secure, and helps you track your spending without getting into debt. So it all boils down to one simple habit. This is it. This is the practical action that prevents that $35 fee, and it's the exact same habit that embodies the principle of diligence from Proverbs. It's that simple.
All right, so let's zoom back out from this one math problem. Because the goal here isn't just to create a bunch of financially savvy 6th graders. No, it's much, much bigger than that.
You see, these takeaways from the lesson, they're not just answers for a pop quiz. They are literally habits for a diligent life. Being aware of fees, checking your balance, these are small acts of good stewardship and responsibility that build a solid foundation for your future.
And really, this is the ultimate goal.
This whole philosophy argues that when you teach a child how to diligently manage a bank account, you're also teaching them how to build a life of integrity. These small, daily choices become the building blocks for faithful families and for a society that can actually experience the life and peace promised in Scripture.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If a simple math lesson can be transformed into a powerful lesson on wisdom and diligence, where else in our lives could we apply this same principle? In our jobs, our relationships, our plans for the future? What do you think would change if we did?